Star Trek. It's one of the biggest science fiction franchises of all time. Since 1966, it's captured our imagination and promoted creative thinking about the unexplored regions of the universe, to boldly go where no man has gone before. There's 10 Star Trek movies, soon to be 11, and there's 5 different television series, 6 if you count the animated one. It has a devoted fan base like no other, but it's more than just a cult phenomenon. It's a science, and that's what we're going to talk about. Science fiction is exactly what it's called. It's science that's made to sound plausible and realistic, but really, it's full of shit. The dialogue in Star Trek is often intended to go over your head and sound technically sophisticated.
My advisor's picking up subatomic fluctuations. Meson and lepton activity is definitely increasing.
It allows us to suspend our disbelief and immerse ourselves into a futuristic environment. But let's check out some examples. So sit back, time to geek out. It's Top 10 Trek Technobabbles. Now most of these clips are from the next generation, but let's start off with one from the original series. Number 10.
The emergency bypass control of the matter-antimatter integrator is fused.
Matter-antimatter? What's he talking about? Oh well, let's see what Data has to say. Number 9.
It appears to be a highly focused aperture in the space-time continuum. Its energy signature matches that of the temporal fragments we observed earlier. However, it is approximately 1.2 million times as intense. I believe this may be the origin of the temporal fragmentation.
Okay, did you catch all that? Well, I think I got lost after the temporal fragmentation part, or actually I got lost over the whole thing. Number 8, from the movie First Contact.
Tell me, are you using a polymer-based neural relay to transmit the organic nerve impulses to the central processor of my positronic net?
What?
If that is the case, how have you solved the problem of increased signal degradation inherent to organosynthetic
Yeah, alright, let's move on. It's time to talk warp. Number 7.
It uses trionic initiators in the warp coil.
Of course, the warp coil.
They have a reputation for strange side effects, especially when you start playing around with them.
Uh-huh.
There have been reports of warp bubbles
Had a
and
warp
other
bubble in my
subspace
ass.
deformations.
Yeah, you gotta watch
So,
those subspace deformations.
What if that's what happened? Not a warp bubble,
But a warp magnetic
but a subspace
transistor.
funnel.
Oh.
Connecting 2 points through subspace.
Yeah, just a good old conversation about trionic initiators and warp funnels. Nothing unusual. Number 6, a lesson about anti-time.
Let us also assume he has initiated a tachyon pulse at the same coordinates in all 3 time periods. In that case, it is possible that the convergence of 3 tachyon pulses could have ruptured the subspace barrier and created an anti-time reaction.
I see where you're going, Data. And because anti-time operates opposite the way normal time does, the effects would travel backwards through the space-time continuum.
Man, anti-time. That's one thing that never came up in Back to the Future. I'd like to see Doc Brown and Data have a conversation. Actually, I think my head would explode. If the two of them ever even stepped into the same room, it would cause an impenetrable paradox in the space-time continuum. Wait, what am I talking about? Number 5.
Computer, establish a security code for access to all functions previously transferred to bridge.
Enter code.
173467321 Charlie 32
8 6 5 3 4 Johnny 9 0 9 8 7 6 4 9 7 7 E equals MC squared.
Lock.
Number 4.
I believe the quantum fissure we discovered is a fixed point across the space-time continuum.
Oh, here we go.
Keyhole, which intersects many other quantum realities.
What?
What do you mean, quantum realities?
Yeah, what do you mean?
When Worf's shuttlecraft came into contact with the quantum fissure,
That'll help.
I believe its warp engines caused a small break in the barriers between quantum realities. Worf was thrown into a state of quantum flux. The visor uses a subspace field pulse. I believe that whenever Geordi came near Worf, the field pulse intensified the quantum flux.
Quantum fissure, quantum realities, quantum flux. How about quantum fuck farts? Number 3.
Cross-linked with a redundant Melicort's Ramostat 14 kiloquad interface modules. The core element is based on an FTL nanoprocessor with 25 bilateral calolactrals, with 20 of those being slaved into the primary Heisenfram terminal.
The hell? Number 2.
Computer, run transformational matrix calculations.
Match navigational reference to known stars in this sector.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Computer, assume those paths are course corrections and derive gravitational values for stellar objects near those flight paths.
This might be a rotational time reference.
Oh, that's what that
Computer.
is. Thanks for clearing that up.
Assume these symbols are pulsars. Translate associated values into standard temporal notations. Computer, is there a pulsar with a rotational period of 1.5244 seconds within
Okay, enough already. Now that one or more of your computing neuromemory capacitors has been overcharged with involuntary sensory overload, it's time to activate your neurobiological subsystem and neural correlates of mental state to direct your sensory organs to the stimulus source in obligatory preparation for the #1 top Trek Technobabble.
Well, it just occurred to me that I could set up a frequency harmonic between the deflector and the shield grid using the warp field generator as a power flow anti-attenuator, and that, of course, naturally created an amplification of the inherent energy output.
That's how I feel about it.